Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we re-diving deep into the history of one of the world's most debated and decadent delicacies, foie gras. How did this dish, the fattened liver of a duck or goose, become a symbol of ultimate luxury? The story is far richer and longer than you might think. Grab a seat and let's unravel this fascinating culinary tale. Our journey begins not in France, as many assume, but in ancient Egypt, over 4,500 years ago. On the walls of a tomb in the Saqqara necropolis, there are detailed carvings showing workers feeding figs to geese. The Egyptians observed that geese and ducks naturally gorge themselves before their long migratory flights, storing extra fat in their livers. They figured out how to replicate this process on their farms. For them, it wasn't about luxury. It was a practical way to produce a rich, high-energy food source. The fat rendered from the liver was also a valuable cooking medium and preservative, essential in a time before refrigeration. From the banks of the Nile, this knowledge traveled across the Mediterranean. The Greeks, ever the students of the world, learned this practice from the Egyptians. The poet Cratinus, writing in the 5th century BC, even mentioned goose liver graziers, but it was the Romans who truly elevated the technique and began to treat the fattened liver as a delicacy. The great Roman epicure Apicius, whose cookbook is a window into the lavish tastes of the empire, included recipes for what they called e-cug ficatun, which literally means fig-stuffed liver. This name is incredibly important because the Latin word for fig facatum eventually evolved into fegato in Italian, hígado in Spanish, and most importantly for our story, foie in French. That's right, the name foie gras is a direct descendant of the Roman obsession with feeding figs to geese. The Romans were masters of gastronomy, and their banquets were legendary. Serving a large, rich goose liver was a clear display of wealth and sophistication. After the fall of the Roman Empire, Europe entered the Middle Ages, and many of these grand culinary traditions were lost or simplified. However, the practice of raising fattened geese didn't disappear entirely. It was preserved and passed down largely within Jewish communities. As they migrated across Europe, they brought the technique with them. Goose fat, or schmaltz, was a vital part of their cuisine, as it was a perfect kosher alternative to lard for cooking. The liver itself remained a special, prized food. So, for centuries, it was these communities that quietly kept the tradition alive. Particularly in Central Europe, in places like Alsace and Hungary. Now, let's fast forward to the Renaissance and the rise of France as the culinary capital of the world. French chefs, always on the lookout for exquisite ingredients, rediscovered this fattened liver. The credit for popularizing foie gras in the French court often goes to a chef named Jean-Pierre Clauze. In the 1770s, while working for the Marshal de Contades, the military governor of Strasbourg in the Alsace region, Clauze created a pâté of foie gras encased in a pastry crust called pâté de Contades. The Marshal was so impressed that he sent the dish to King Louis XVI at the Palace of Versailles. The king and the royal court were absolutely captivated. This was exactly the kind of opulent, refined dish that defined French haute cuisine. It was rich, it was complex, and it was a demonstration of incredible skill, both from the farmer and the chef. Its rarity and the labor-intensive process of producing it instantly made it a status symbol. To serve foie gras was to show you had connections, wealth, and impeccable taste. The royal seal of approval sent its reputation soaring. Chefs across France began experimenting with it, and it quickly became a cornerstone of fine dining. In the 19th century, with the rise of the restaurant and the bourgeoisie, the new upper middle class, the demand for luxury goods like foie gras exploded. This was the era of legendary chefs like Auguste Escoffier, who codified French cuisine and solidified foie gras's place in the culinary pantheon. He developed classic preparations like foie gras au torchon, where the liver is wrapped in a towel and gently poached, a method still revered today. The invention of canning and sterilization by Nicolas Appert in the early 1800s also played a crucial role. Suddenly, this perishable delicacy from regions like Alsace and Périgord could be preserved and shipped to the finest tables in Paris, London, and beyond, making it an international symbol of gourmet living. The 20th century saw the process become more standardized. While figs were the original feed, farmers discovered that corn, which is rich in starch, was even more effective and economical for the fattening process known as gavage. This industrialization made foie gras more accessible, but it remained firmly in the luxury category due to the specialized skills, time, and resources required for its production. Today, its status is a complex mix of this incredible history. Its unique melt-in-your-mouth texture and its rich, buttery flavor. It's a direct link back to the banquets of ancient Rome and the ingenuity of Egyptian farmers. So, from a practical source of energy in ancient Egypt to a status symbol in the French royal court, and a global delicacy today, the journey of foie gras is a story of migration, innovation, and the enduring human quest for extraordinary flavors. It's a food that carries thousands of years of history in every single bite. Thank you so much for joining me on this historical deep dive. What do you think about this incredible culinary journey? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the stories behind our food, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. We'll see you in the next one.